Hello, and welcome to the SAM workshop for the fall 2014 semester at Ora Georgetown Technical College. SAM is the Skills Assessment Manager. It is a web based application that will measure your proficiency in the use of Microsoft Office software. This software includes Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Access. We will use skill based assessments, interactive training, real world projects, and just in time remediation to help you master essential computing skills. To visit the SAM website, you will navigate to the URL on your screen, which is sam.cengage.com. Before you get started, there are a few things to keep in mind. Your computer at home needs to have at least an Intel Pentium 4 or higher processor. You need to have at least 512 megabytes of RAM. 1 gig or more is the actual recommendation. Your operating system, Windows XP, Windows 7, Vista, Windows 8, all 32-bit or 64-bit operating systems versions, and Mac OS actually work well with SAM. You need to make sure that you have or using high-speed internet access, that your audio and video settings are set to the minimum recommended 1280 by 800 32-bit color and at least 64 megabits minimum video memory. The only real piece of software required to use SAM is Adobe Flash Player. So you will want to make sure that the version of your computer is at least version 10.2 or higher. SAM is also browser independent, therefore, you can use virtually any browser with SAM. Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, Komodo, Ice Dragon, or Photon for those that are using Macs. Pop ups must be enabled in these browsers in order for you to use all the features in SAM. So, you should have at this point already created your username and password, logged into SAM, and joined your section. Um, what I will do with this workshop will focus on is completing the actual assignments in SAM. So once you've joined your section, you will find a calendar view in SAM, and it lists all your assignments in the view of the calendar. So the assignments will populate on the date that they are actually due. There's also the activity list view. So if you were to select activity list from the top of your screen, you would be able to list assignments in a listed order. There are also reports that will help you with study guides, take you back into the material to reinforce your learning. Also gives you detailed um, items on your grades and your graded assignments. The gradebook feature here lists all your grades that you've earned in the course. It's an okay feature, but in the classes we will actually track your grades in D2L. So if you're taking or if you're enrolled in CPT 101, there will be textbook projects that you will have to complete using the instructions in the chapters in the textbook, and then you have to submit in the appropriate D2L Dropbox. These instructions should be located in your course content in D2L. There's also Windows 7's training that must be completed in SAM, concepts tests that are like multiple choice tests that must be completed in SAM. There are training and post tests for each chapter of the Microsoft Office software. There's also graded projects which you will download files from SAM, upload and complete the completed files into SAM for grading. If you are enrolled in CPT 170, the content discussion will be completed in D2L. So there's a unit question that you must answer each week in D2L related to the concepts that are covered in the chapter that you're studying that particular week. There are also tutorials that would actually be completed using your textbook. The screen says Sam, but you will actually use your textbook to complete these tutorials. The tutorials go along with the chapter, so you locate the chapter you're working on for that week. You Follow the instructions in the chapter to complete the assignments. These are not graded, nor do you have to turn them in CPT 170, but they are a um, they're a good thing to do to help you understand the concepts that are being covered. There's the training in CPT 170 that you will find not on your activity calendar, but if you go to your activity list, scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will find the training for all the chapters that are covered. There's a hands-on post test, which you can also find from the activity list or the activity calendar that must be completed in SAM. There are also graded projects, just as with CPT 101. You would download the files from SAM and upload the completed files into SAM. And there's also objective post tests that are completed in SAM, similar to multiple choice tests that you'll have to read your chapter and answer the questions. At this point, I'm going to take you into SAM. So you would go to sam.cengage.com, enter your username and your password, and sign in. I'm going to show you a section of CPT 170. So today is Tuesday, September the 2nd, and if I go to my calendar view and I look at the assignments that are populated here on September the 10th, that lets me know that I have assignments that are due on this date. So if I'm in CPT 170, one of the first things I want to do is I want to read my chapter and then I want to complete the training. Again, the training for CPT 170 is not accessible in the calendar view. In CPT 101, your training will be accessible from the calendar view. So to access the training, I'm going to select the activity list and then I'm going to, using this vertical scroll bar, scroll all the way to the bottom of the activity list, and we are covering Excel Chapter 1. So I am going to click on the Excel Chapter 1 training. Once I read the instructions, which tells me that the due date is always available and asks me if I want to start the training, I'm going to select Start. So here is my training for Excel Chapter 1. You have a show task list. If you click the arrow, it lists all of the different tasks or the questions that you have to complete for this particular training. So you can navigate from one question to the next, or you can skip questions, but it is recommended that you complete them in order. From the intro mode, I could read the actual task that it's asking me to complete. After I read the task, if I'm not sure, I can choose any of the three methods that are listed on this particular task to answer the question correctly. It also provides Mac hints. So if you're using an Apple device, it gives you a hint on how you could actually complete this task in intro mode. In observe mode, you could actually watch Sam. 2013 introduction screen, click Open Other Workbooks. So as you see, Sam automatically starts to show you the the actual steps and how to complete the task. So you can sit back and watch Sam complete the task as a way of practicing for yourself. So if you are done with observe mode, you can go over to practice mode. On the Excel 2013 introduction screen, click Open Other Workbooks. In the Places pane, click Compute. The computer pane appears, listing available places to retrieve files. Click Documents. The Open dialog box opens, listing Excel files in the Documents folder. Click SJLEmployees.xlsx is selected and appears in the file name text box. So as you can see, in the practice mode, you work along with the computer to complete the different steps in this particular question to answer it. Alright, if you're done with practice mode, now it's time for you to apply what you have learned. So at this point, you are ready to complete the steps on your own. So you would then go through and read the actual description of the task again. We're going to open other workbooks, and it tells you to click open other workbooks. And the places pane, we're going to click computer. In the computer pane, I'm going to click documents. In the open dialog box, I'm going to click sjlemployees.xlsx. And then at the bottom of that dialog box, I will click open. Once you've completed a task properly, you will see this message appear. It says Microsoft Excel, open a workbook, which is the name of the task. You have completed the task. Please press task complete below. So anytime you complete a task in the training, you will select task complete and it takes you to the next task. If you wanted to close your training and move on to another assignment, please do not press the X to close it. Please press exit in the bottom right to exit the training properly. It'll tell you that there are unfinished tasks remaining in your assignment and ask if you are sure you want to exit. I'm going to select yes. I can come back to the training and then I can close this window. It's just telling me there are a total of 20 tasks and then I've only completed one of the tasks. And if you'll notice, the Excel Training 1 shows that it's in progress. It shows it's always available. But now I want to show you from the activity list how you can view your assignments as well. So currently my assignments are filtered by the due date. The first due date is September the 10th, 2014 at 11:59 p.m. I have an Excel Chapter 1 Grader Project, an Objective Post Test. I also have Excel Chapter 2 Grader Project, Hands-on Post Test, and Objective Post Test as well. So there's also an Excel Chapter 1 Hands-on Post Test, but I completed it in another demonstration. So you will go make sure you have all of these assignments completed before September the 10th. And at this time I'll show you the grader project. So if you wanted to complete the grader project, you can select the grader project. It'll tell you that there are a maximum of 2 submissions allowed and that the number of submissions that I currently have left is one because I've already started this project once. So I'm going to select start. First thing I need to do is I need to read these instructions. So I need to first click the download link to open the instructions file and follow the directions to complete the project. So I've clicked on it and I'm going to open this file. And I now have my instructions for the very first grader project. So it gives you a description of the project and it tells you to download the following file from the SAM website. So I'm going to download this file from SAM's website. So if I just minimize this window, and this is the file I need to download in step 2. So I'm going to click on it to download it. I'm going to open this file and then I'm going to go back to my instructions. So the next thing I need to do is I need to rename the file. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I need to choose my location. So I'm going to save mine to my desktop. I'm going to change the name on the end from a 1 to a 2. Make sure it says Excel Workbook. Hit Save. And those are the first 2 steps to completing the grader project. Okay, so what you want to make sure is that you don't add the .xlsx file extension because that will automatically be added by Excel. You would then go through and complete the remaining steps to complete the project.